Potatoes are some of the most versatile things that we have in the kitchen to make all kind of delicious. What we're going to do today is go ahead and peel about 5 large potatoes, and we're going to cut them into slices like this. In our handy, trusted 9x13 glass pan, we're going to blast that with anti-stick spray like Pam or oil, and then we're going to layer the bottom with those thin slices of potato. That's basically going to make our crust. We've already started strong. Next up is a real healthy dash of garlic powder. Put that down on the bottom. And then some onion powder just to make sure we got plenty. Make sure the top's on real tight, okay? Next, a good grind of fresh salt and pepper. Go ahead and put those in there on top of your potato crust. Next is some yellow mustard. I love this stuff. It is so good. You can use the brown, which is also wonderful, but there's something just wonderful nostalgic about using the yellow mustard. Reminds me of hot dogs at the ballpark. Like y'all know, we love to use cheese, so we're going to go ahead and throw down a nice thick layer of shredded cheese. This is Colby Jack, and I love it. Now we're going to bring in the star of the show. We're going to use about 2 pounds of ground beef. It's going to be about 85%. We love a higher fat content ground beef just because it provides a lot more flavor. It's also a little bit cheaper. I'm always trying to think of the cost effectiveness of it whenever I'm making something for the family, but they always love this. It's almost like a casserole, but not exactly. I don't know, it's a meat and potatoes, but it's definitely done a different way. Hope y'all notice we're using gloves to handle any of the raw meat. That way we don't have to worry about contamination. We get several comments about wearing gloves, especially while handling meat, so we try to be as sensitive to that as possible. Now, whenever I'm making for the family, I usually don't take these kind of precautions, but want to make sure that while we're doing this for the video, that everybody's real happy with it. We've preheated our oven to 400 degrees, and we're going to be taking care of that in just a second. But first, we're going to be putting on a layer of more of that shredded cheese. Just go ahead and put a very generous layer on the top, just to make sure it kind of covers all your ground beef. Then another layer of our mustard, and again, it can be the yellow or the brown, whichever you prefer. This one's just easier for us. It's also easier to apply. A lot of times that brown gets a little bit stuck in the nozzle on the way out. Beautiful. Next up, more of that fresh salt and pepper. Go ahead and add those to it. And then another layer of those thinly sliced potatoes. We love layers. The more layers there are to it, especially a potato, the better it's going to stick to ribs and keep people from getting hungry later on. So we're just going to go ahead and add another layer of those thinly sliced potatoes. We used about 5 all together, and we put half of them down on the bottom, and then we've got another half right here to cover the top, okay? Now, again, it's one of those things where you can soak them, you can put them right on, however you want to do it. We've been putting these in a little bit of a bath of water and salt, just to kind of soften them up a little bit before putting them there on top. Oh my goodness, God, it's going to be so good. Once we get finished with that, what we're going to do is go ahead and add more pepper and more salt just right there on top. Absolutely. And we're going to pop it in the oven for 400 degrees. It's going to take about 40 minutes to make sure that all these ingredients get really well done, okay? I wish you'd look at that, how gorgeous. We've got like a scallop potato top, not really cheesy. We do have 2 layers of cheese, but it's not what I'd consider to be a scallop potato top. But it does have that same thickness as a scallop potato dish would. And my goodness, it is so good. Look at that. All that meat has just browned perfectly, and those potatoes are absolutely out of this world. So we're going to go ahead and scoop out a corner of this so we can enjoy it. All right. Hey, please be careful with this. It is so hot. It just got out of the oven, all right? You can let it cool for a minute if you want to. It's just that for video's sake, we want to make sure we get it on our plate as soon as we can. Look at that. Oh, my goodness, that's beautiful. Eat up, y'all. Yes, please.